Hi, so this video is an explanation about the timeline of the ancient Egyptians. So where does these dynastical families come from? Um, Archaeologists call the Egyptian timeline chronology. So who created this chronology? Well, according to the Greek commentaries, so these were Greek scholars visiting Egypt during the Greek period. They commented on seeing a work which was created by an Egyptian priest called Manito. Now, Manito served one of the Ptolemy kings, and he created 33 dynastical families. The work was commissioned in 3 volumes. The first volume was about the gods and God's stories and demigods and things like that. And the second and third volume covered the 33 dynasties. Now, why was it commissioned? Well, the Greek commentaries say that Manetho wanted to do the work because he was looking back at his ancestors' history and there was no written record. There were lots of stories on the temple walls, but not a complete history. Why did the Ptolemies set him the task to do this? Well, they wanted to be related to the Egyptian history. When a king of Egypt came to the throne, they would lay out a king's list, and a king's list would follow their name with all the other kings who came before them, setting it out all the way back to the first king, King Narmer. And this was a very popular thing to do in what we call the New Kingdom. So all of the New Kingdom kings, most of them had these kings lists, and some have survived in fragments, which you can see. So let's have a look at the chronology. Well, we've got the early dynastic phase. We've got the prehistory, haven't we? The prehistoric, Paleolithic, Neolithic, farming. Then we've got early dynastic and dynastic Egypt. So early dynastic is the first and second dynasties. Then we've got the Old Kingdom, which is third dynasty to sixth. Then we have a lack of central authority and what we call a first intermediate period. So those dynasties are the 7th dynasties going up to the 10th dynasty. Remembered. It's not quite going yet. My favourite period of the Egyptian chronology is the Middle Kingdom. I think these kings were the enlightened kings, the 11th and 12th dynasty kings. I love them, and I will be doing videos on them. Then we had another crash, which was the second intermediate period, so-called Hyksos times, different rulers throughout the land claiming to be the king of Egypt. So that's 13 going up to the 17th dynasty. Then we have a new kingdom, which is all the great kings like the Tutmosis kings and Tutankhamun and Seti I and Ramesses. Must mention Akhenaten's in there and Horemheb and all that sort of business. Then it collapsed again into a third intermediate period. So third intermediate is when the Assyrians invaded, and then you have a Persian period that came after that. Then the Greeks invaded Persia, Alexander the Great, and he came to Egypt and identified himself as being the son of Amun, which gave him the legal precedence to rule Egypt as well. But the great thing about Alexander was that once he claimed the title, he moved on. And then one of his generals, when he died, usurped Egypt as his own kingdom to make it a Ptolemaic Egypt. And that's when Manetho wrote this history of his ancestors. So he was looking back 3,000 years, and some of his dynastical families, there were errors in his work. Although his work never survived in its entirety, it's the commentaries that the Greek scholars made when they looked through those 3 volumes. They could have made mistakes. So after the Greek period, you had the Roman period, of course. Then Rome was split into 2 kingdoms. You had Eastern Empire and Western Empire. Then Eastern Empire collapsed, and the Ottomans, well, the Arabs invaded Egypt, and then after the Arab came the Ottoman Empire. Then the French, the Brits landed in Egypt with the French, and then Brits again until the 1950s, and then finally Egypt became independent throughout the British Empire from the 1950s onwards, and now their own sovereign state. So that's the chronology of ancient Egypt and modern Egypt in a crash course, just to explain where those 33 dynasties come from that I mention in these videos. Okay, hope you enjoyed that presentation, and I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.